Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This video is for Core World History for Skyline High School 2019-2020, week of April 13th. And April 13th is going to take us into finally our unit on 1989 to the present, or the contemporary era, or the globalized world. Key Standard 7.1, students will evaluate the role of global organizations, such as non-governmental organizations, what are called NGOs, multinational corporations, military alliances, and other international civic and political institutions within the increasingly global nature of the world. Watch this video that I'm going to have. It'll be shared underneath the discussions tab, and then read the Unit 9 PowerPoint shared under Files. In AP World, the Unit 9 is the contemporary stuff, and for us, it's Unit 7 inside Core World. But anyway, get to slide 67, and you'll start to get into the slides that talk about our sources. So your assignment this week is to write 250 words response underneath the discussions tab to this particular one right here. No peer replies are required this week. The forum closes on Friday. Okay, so I've given you a bunch of links here to some of these sources that we're supposed to be looking into, and it should be clear that these are to be considered reliable sources for the purposes of our class. So non-governmental organizations, for example, Greenpeace is a really well-known one. If you get any information from this particular source, you can cite that underneath your submission response. So NGOs, usually they're going to be involved with environmental issues, and so oftentimes they will be left-leaning, although there are definitely a bunch of right-leaning NGOs. Multinational corporations, oftentimes they're going to be a lot more right-leaning, but I've brought here to you several of them, Nestle.com, for instance, Nissan, Mahindra, one of the largest vehicle manufacturers on the planet. You're welcome to get information from there. Military alliances, your book already talked about NATO some, so if you want to talk about that, keep in mind the Warsaw Pact has collapsed. And other international civic and political institutions. So, for instance, the United Nations, really important. The United Nations is really the only truly universal global institution that can deal with globalized issues. World Health Organization, very important branch of the United Nations. Again, keep in mind in this time period, if you're getting information about, say, the coronavirus, make sure that you are getting that information from reliable sources like the World Health Organization, okay? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, write a 250-word response after having researched underneath Files. Again, if you're on the PowerPoint, this starts up as of slide 67. There's a bunch of links to information, Declaration of Human Rights, as well as Greenpeace, the Green Belt Movement, Earth Day, which is coming up, by the way, on April 22nd this year. And then if you are going to use news media, let's try to avoid ones that have an obvious bias towards the left or the right, like in the United States. Say Fox News is really famous for having a rightward bias, MSNBC, a leftward one. Part of why using something like BBC, which is a foreign news service, is not local to the United States, and so it doesn't have a lot of the typical biases that some of the other ones would. Anyway, get your 90 minutes worth of research done, make your forum post. It will be due on Friday. And this will start to really lead us into getting ready for what is going to be our final project inside Core World. Identifying a pressing global problem and selecting the promising solutions. To get there, we're going to start getting into the types of sources that we want to use. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck this week.